Welcome to an episode of the Programmatic Digest Podcast. I am your host, Hélène Parker. And on the podcast today, I have the incomparable Sanarr McLaughlin. You know, I still can't pronounce your last name, and we've known each other for 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember
that's
trying to
okay.
pronounce it in the first podcast. You remember?
Yes. How would I look if I was like upset? First of all, everybody can't pronounce McLaughlin.
McLaughlin.
It's tricky because it's spelled McLaughlin. So people are like McLaughlin. Right. But as much as when I say Ellen and you're like, no, that's not it.
You have, since I know you, you have made the effort to pronounce my name the way my mama pronounced it, which is Hélène.
Yes, it's Hélène.
Yeah. You're almost there. I feel like you did it. You said it. But
I'm doing my best.
Listen, Sanarr and I know each other for a minute, if you can't tell. And also this last thing, okay, because I'm still spicy. I mean, I feel some type of way about it. But one time, I think on the podcast, the first podcast we did like in 2019, I introduced you as McLaughlin. And then I think you texted me after and you were like, this ain't no McDonald's Happy Meal. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm done. But anyway, so Sanarr is here to talk to us about the importance of Martech structure, okay? We work in an industry where we have 5011 DSPs, we have 5011 research tool, and now there's asking us to have all this data visualization tool. And so Sanarr is here to talk to us about, if you are this person who has all of them, how to make it make sense, and if you need more or less. And we're going to talk about structuring this from an operational perspective, how to really increase internal productivity. Because, it's nothing worse like, I don't know where this has been stored and we just ran it 4 months ago. Like, there's nothing worse than spending time looking for information that's so important because you're everywhere. Yes. Or I think that's something you're going to answer, like, how do they all communicate and give us like one holistic, I hate that word, but like this one view of everything that is Martech, which is marketing technologies. So before we get there, since it's been a minute, how about you give us your introduction? I know Sanarr woke up when she was 6 years old and she told her mama and grandma, like, I'm going to be in programmatic when I grow up. Is that how you started, or?
Pretty much.
Good.
How the whole story goes is on a balmy spring day in Jamaica, I was born. So I actually, I've been in marketing for like 2 decades now. And I fell in love with the idea of digital marketing while I was in college. I went to Georgia State University. And when I was a senior, there was a speaker in my advertising class, and he worked at a local digital agency here in Atlanta. And my God, when he started talking about the fact that you could target specific audiences in like certain segments, and you could instantly see when people have clicked, and then you could get overall data on like the performance and how specific ads were doing, like I was enthralled. And digital marketing has had me in a chokehold ever since. So over my career, I've done, as you said, programmatic, display, social, connected TV, audio, digital out of home, billboard, buying, anything that you can purchase digitally, in real time bidding, anything that you could target specific audiences. I've been all up through there. And I've been very, focused on strategy, planning, and buying. And one of the, we go back to working together at an agency. That's how we met. And one of the consistent things that I see, whether I'm working agency or on the brand side, is that chaos in the way that data is collected and saved and made accessible, and the tools that we use as digital marketers, not talking to each other, right? Or being underutilized, right? Or being used in a way where we put duct tape and bubble gum, not even duct tape is strong, scotch tape and bubble gum on it to get it to work, right? And it was just always so amazing to me. Even the largest of enterprise, global, Fortune 100 companies, right, are like using paper mache, right, to do these huge campaigns. They're spending millions of dollars, and the structure that it all sits on could all melt away in a rainstorm. It was crazy to me. So I became incredibly fascinated, and like you, I love that the devil is in the details, right? I love the nitty-gritty ins and outs, the data, the structure, the coding, like, the build of all of the marketing technology platforms that we use. So I became very, very interested in how do these tools actually work on the back end?
Yeah.
Right. What are they supposed to do? What is the engine of this? And how does that relate to other tools that we're using in? And the whole idea of choosing the right tools, using them to their full capacity, having clean integrations, because garbage in, garbage out, you want to make sure that at every point, right? Anybody who deals with analytics and data knows that saying garbage in, garbage out, right?
When you say that, I only thought of Emery Vasquez. The only person who said that to me was like garbage in, garbage in, because she's my analytic girl, like that's who I go to if I don't trust the analytic stuff I'm seeing. I'm like, please, I'll pay you in kisses and hugs, which never works apparently for her. But anyway, I still offer. And then she'll help me, translate it.
That's when you go to, because Emery and I definitely commiserated many times on that whole garbage situation. But Arcadia will.
Well, she was on Emery's team, right? So guys, if you're not following, me and Sanarr are just reminiscing, but I know you're not here for that. But it's nice to be able to be like, you remember when back in the days, this is what happened with this person? It's all part of what we do. And I also think that's why I'm so excited to interview you for many reasons, obviously, but because of what you're doing is so important and so underrated at the same time. It's crazy. Like the fact that, most of my experience has been on the trading, like inside of the DSP style, like optimizing, managing and all whatnot. And now recently Infillion platform, which is sitting on top of the Media Math legacy. So Media Math was acquired by Infillion, and so I'm on the DSP sales. So it's a pivot for me.
Which is Media Math has been in the game, right? Like Media Math, long time, yes. And so having Infillion on top of that.
Yes, exactly. And I even realized from that, like you said, enterprise, like that's instantly all of the tools. I'm like, there's an app for this. There's an app for that. It's like culture. There's an app for this. Expenses is app for this. Travel. There's an app separate. Well, actually now it's one. Like, there's all of those things. So like when you're sitting on top, you realize like, what is it? And honestly, like, here's my first question to you is that what are some maybe challenges or struggles that people, teams, whether it's agency side, tech side, sales side, it doesn't matter. What are some challenges that the marketing teams go through every day? Maybe they don't even realize that this is a Martech structure issue that can be fixed this way. Maybe define what the whole Martech structure looks like and what it should look like. And then tell me like one or two of them problems that if you're going through this problem right now, like you should probably consider this.
Well, I'm going to answer the question in one big statement quickly, then explain marketing ecosystem, right? And then dive a little bit deeper into the solution to the problem. But it's always tool utilization and process, right? That's the issue. That's what causes inefficiencies in how buyers are able to work and how data is able to be reported, how insights can be gathered, and how clients are getting, how the advertiser is getting the most for their money, right? It creates inefficiency, it increases waste. So that's the problem, right? Marketing technology ecosystem is basically everything that you utilize when you're buying media. So it is your DSP, SSP, it is your CRM system where you house your audience data when you're on the client side. It is, well, not even just on the client side, because if you're on the tech side, right, and you're creating audience segments that can be utilized. It is your email marketing system. It is your content management system. It is your project management system, right? We operate in a world where the majority of these companies have very disparate systems and processes that touch all of these things and that manage all of these things, right? And every time you have to pull information from one platform and then take it and go manage it in another platform, you lose time, you lose money, you lose accuracy, right? So when you talk about marketing technology, and then specifically where I and Digital X Media focuses on providing that clarity and helping give the roadmap to business owners for how to have that structure, right? And what their process should look like. It's about which tools should you be using for what? Which tools do you not need to use? Because we've also been where there are 16 different tools that people are like, oh, we use this for this, but we also use this for this. Well, one of those tools does all the jobs that you need them to do, but it's being underutilized, right? And then what is the process? What are the connections? What are the integrations that need to be set up to make sure? So exactly like you said with the stack sitting on top of MediaMath, right? Like when you get that holistic, right, view of all of the different apps, all of the different tools that can be used, right? And you create that hub where they're all speaking to each other correctly, and where they're all doing a specific job. You create so much more efficiency and accuracy, and you can do more with a smaller team, right? Because one of the things I should say is that my heart, after all these years, belongs to small business owners, right? Shout out to enterprise companies. Y'all got a lot going on. However, I am always so inspired by business owner run companies and what they're trying to achieve and how much work they put in, and their struggles are so solvable when it comes to their marketing focus, and they need it the most, right? Like they need to create that brand awareness, they need to grab consideration, they need to know their audiences, they need to speak to them often, and create that advocacy. And I just love being able to help them with like taking all of the knowledge that I have with this and helping them do things.
No, that's, I appreciate what you just said, because I don't think people realize the amount of tools they have, like touching every single day, right? And even for me, so after you talked to me, like when we were prepping for the podcast, I went on and looked like, you know what? Let me see how many tools. I had 33 tools in the last 7 years working for my consultancy, which 16 are still actively active. Okay. So I'm saying this to say, I was one person for a while, and then me and my husband, who's now managing director of the consultancy, and then we had 3 more people for a while, for like 2 or 3 years, just helping on different projects, on this training, on that training. Shout out to Aisha White. She was so fundamental during that time and during the growth of the consultancy. And like 16, that's crazy. It's just like a team of 3, right? And so at some point, it became so much, like the credit card was just like, I just paid this off.
Yep.
Like, the balance is back up. Like, why? And they will add it up. And I'm like, wait, hold on. This tool gives me webinar, but Zoom does webinar for an extra 12. So if I remove this, it's like you have to have time to go through this. But as a trader, we don't realize it. But just imagine, and let me just give you a scenario, because my people are like, they need illustrations, like visually. When you're running a campaign, imagine if you select brand safety as double verify. And then you accidentally add an exclusion, like a contextual exclusion with IAS. Okay. And then you're working with a data partner who uses, who's the third one then? Peer 39. You see how you're adding, like you're multiplying all this, and you're paying twice. You're paying Peer 39 to that data segment. You're paying, double verify. In some cases, you are even paying IAS, but if it's an exclusion, it's different, right? To tie it back to my example. So just as a trader, sometimes we don't even we accidentally don't even understand, like we don't see down to the details. Now you have the DSP, it's just happening within the DSP. And then you have the ad server. Sometimes your clients ask you for different ad server. Sometimes you have three more DSPs because this one DSP, that's your main one, doesn't do political, but this one does.
Right.
But this one doesn't do gambling, but this third one does. But the other one doesn't do pharma, and this fourth one. First of all, if you have this type of situation, call me because we can consolidate all in one. Okay? Just saying. No shame in this. But like you have to realize like productivity is not just like my performance is great, my ROI is this, my ROAS is whatnot. Productivity is also this internal process that Sanarr is saying, like you need visibility in. And even if you don't touch this, now you understand why. And I'm not throwing shades. I love my data engineering team, but sometimes they make us wait. Like, why? Just give me the damn API key. But sometimes you gotta wait because there's so much stuff going on over there. Like you're not the only person, client, request, message that comes through, and you need tools to keep it together. But some tools make sense for engineering, data engineering. Some tools make sense for traders, some for sales. You know what I mean? So here's my question. Maybe give us an example.
I was just going to say, even in that, right? When it's exactly what you said, right? You, team of one, then Hubs, team of two, right? You have the tools that you need to act as a team of four, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be utilizing them properly, right? And even if you're outsourcing things, or if you have, like you're working with an agency and they have like a data team or something like that, if we zoom out, not zone out, we don't want to zone out, but if we zoom out, right? Right. Think exactly the example that you gave of all of the different points that we can look at when we're in the DSP platform on how to manage, to streamline the buy and make it more productive. We have to zoom out and do that across the different teams and touch points as well, or else you are waiting forever to get data back. You are waiting forever to get new tags. You are waiting forever to get reporting. Like that is the thing, right? And then in that wait, you are losing opportunities, right? That where you could be making optimizations and making more of the spend that you're doing. And you're also losing time because likely whoever is working on it, whether it's you, Hubs, the data team, whatever, is spending more time to do the task than would be necessary if all of the tools were properly structured. You had a nice marketing ecosystem architecture, and we're talking to each other properly, and the whole system was running as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, for sure. And
what was the other example you were going to give?
I was going to mention the article that I just read on Ad Exchanger. It was from a good friend of mine. His name is Albert Thompson. If you don't follow him on LinkedIn, I strongly recommend you do. Also Patreon. He does have like a programmatic ad tech professional Patreon. Okay. And it's filled out with like great gems. He's authentic, he's direct, he tells you straight up, this is what, this is not what. And he wrote an article about how convergent TV is just all over the place at this point. And convergent TV should be the next point because TV is everywhere. And so he gave the example of like how ChatGPT or like an AI, I should stop referring to AI, ChatGPT as the only AI in there because, you know, I'm team ChatGPT, but anyway, everyone is welcome. Bring your own agent to the party.
Gemini.
Yeah. Because you're Google and not iPhone person, but whatever. This is how you know I really like you.
But I know that's how you know I really like you. Okay.
Because my text messages are green and not blue. So, but anywho, so Albert was saying, Albert was saying how like the team that's buying linear is different than the team that's buying CTV. That's different than the team that's buying direct NBCU. That's different than the team that's buying display and native. And then now some AI is just helping bring more visibility in terms of like, well, why is all of this not connected? They're not, we don't know, we're measuring separately. It's siloed, there's different islands speaking different languages with different political, you know, and none of them has eyes.
With different data profiles.
And so he was saying how you have to bring everything together. Like you have to be able to say how this budget has influenced which strategy across which media. And so for us programmatic traders, maybe it's different ad groups within one DSP, but like, again, for those teams that he's referencing to, they each have different type of tech, right? And so I'll put his information in the article in the show note of the video and then the podcast, because it was very it's very eye-opening for me to read. My question to you is like, give us like 4 ways to get started when this happened, like when you know that you don't even realize how much time is spent doing this. And maybe answer this question first, because you know I like to ask 6 questions as one. What to do internally how do you grade yourself on this to make sure that to understand how the problem is coming across, like, you know what I mean? Like, is it the amount of errors done for this? Is it how do you test internally that you need this? Determine. Thank you.
I don't even think it's not. You don't need to test. You don't need to figure it out.
Okay.
You know in your heart and soul, right? Because what's going to happen when there are those points of confusion and lack of clarity, right? When there are delays on deliverables and or things that just can't seem to get done, right? When there is a state of we're doing things, but I can't see the impact, right? So these are all like states, right, that you'll find yourself in, right? Fatigue, overwhelmed, right? I'm doing a lot of things. It feels complex, but it's not producing, right? All of those feelings are coming from an innate issue with your marketing tech structure, right? You already know that something needs to be different. Now, what do you do about that internally? Time is one of those things, right? In prioritizing the time to do an audit of your systems, right? And you're basically needing to go through and be like, what are all the systems we have? Exactly like you said, I had 32 and 16 of them were active. You take that list and you're like, what do I have this tool for? What business objective is this supposed to be tied to, right? What is it that this tool is supposed to be being used for? And then is it doing that, right? So you have a DSP and this specific DSP is supposed to be being used for political campaigns, but you haven't run any political campaigns in a while. Why are you still actively using that DSP, right? You go through the list right? You have a CRM system, but you have actually more than likely you have multiple CRM systems because you're using more than one tool that could house all of your customer data, right? And create your audience segments for you, right? So if you start to go through the list and you're like, there are 5 things in here that the goal was to do X, but I'm not using them for that, or they haven't been working properly, then you start to whittle down that list. Let's get rid of this tool. Let's get rid of that tool. Let's get rid of that tool. That's a cost savings, right? And then with the remaining ones, how do we activate the capabilities and the functionalities within them to move forward and integrate them the way that we need to gain those efficiencies from them, right? Time though, that's the part that small business owners especially never can get to, right? They know it's not a question of if they have an issue, they know they have an issue, but they don't know where in the system the issue lies, and they don't have the time to sit down and go through it. That's what digital community does. We'll do the audit. We'll outline everything. We'll diagnose the issues. We'll give you the roadmap and the direction on what you need to get rid of, what you need to keep, and what needs to be changed, and how you do that, so that you're not like, it's a capacity issue, I need to hire more people. You don't need to hire more people. You need to fix the structure of your marketing system and set those processes so that what you're doing can be more effective, and you can have clarity, and you can have peace, and you can not be confused, not be overwhelmed, and you can see what's working in your marketing, right? And drive growth, right? Whether it's revenue growth, whether it's growing your email list, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, right? But it does start with that audit. It does start with that evaluation, whether you do it yourself or you hire a company to do it, because otherwise the symptom of the chaos of the marketing structure, right, is going to always push you to feel like, I need more resources. I need more people. I need a different tool. You don't need a different tool. You need to use one of the tools you're using better. I need to hire an agency. You may not need an agency. You just need to utilize the tools that you're using better. And even if you're hiring an agency, hiring a consultant, getting freelancers, whatever it is that you're doing, you want to bring them on a structure that's clean and organized and effective. That way, when you're running campaigns with an agency, you're not like, well, what are you guys doing? You'll be able to see it because you've integrated what they're doing into your system, right? Which I always recommend. Yeah, I always recommend that too. You know, a lot of companies will run campaigns with agencies or contractors, but they do it in their systems, and then they own the advertiser's data, and I never recommend that. You want to have a system that they can run from, so that you always own your data, because that's the most valuable thing.
The data. If I had to recap it, like if you have to hop out this podcast, hopefully you don't, here's 3 things you should remember. Like I heard it, and I was taking note because it was so good. I heard Sanarr said disconnected data that can lead into poor targeting and waste. Okay, at the end of the day, it's becoming more expensive for you to operate than for your clients than anything else. So like data is not connected. I should have spelled this one. Measurement chaos, I think I said. And no one trusts the data. So like how many times you be in a client call or like an internal call and you'll be like, oh, I have this ROAS of this or CPA of that. And then the person will be like, did you show me the Carfax? Because they know like there's so many different sources of truth. What?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, are you sure? Do the math again. Is that the right?
Like, and just so y'all know too, like if you can't scale if you don't know what you're doing confidently, if you can't measure this result confidently, if you're not able to be in front of the client and say like, hell yeah, I believe in this, you won't be able to
Right.
scale. Your clients are going to keep doing this. So maybe right now you're like,
Yep.
I'm literally struggling with all of the things she's saying, but we don't have budget, or we don't have somebody that can lead
Mhm.
this, or this is why Sanarr exists. And yes, you do have to pay her points
Mhm.
and her bills, because she's going to come, or her and her team will come and give you so much clarity, help you set you up for success, that this investment is going to triple by maybe 3x afterwards. So you're investing this, but you're getting it back 3 times or 4 times more, because you're able to really,
Right.
like, literally, right?
Right.
And the third one I wanted to mention, because that I really heard you and I want them to hear you again, is operational inefficiency. So like
Mhm.
slow execution, people make more mistakes. You're constant when an agency constantly have fire drills, like
Yes.
something ain't right.
Reactive.
Something ain't
Yeah,
right.
that's it.
You lose speed, you lose
Yeah.
focus, you lose magic, within the
Yeah.
team, and something ain't right. So before we go
Yeah.
to the closing segment, Sanarr, maybe talk about timelines, because we're working programmatic and it's real time,
Yeah.
and everything needs to be done
Yes.
yesterday. So like
Yesterday.
what would be like a timeline for people to
Yeah.
understand this is how long it takes to fix your issues. This is
Mhm.
how long it'll take to do this. Like, talk to us about SLA.
Yeah. So, an audit and a roadmap, you were talking about 2 weeks, 2 business weeks,
Oh,
right? I work on weekends.
pretty good.
That's not for everybody, right? But because that, first of all, I have the process down pat, right? And we're so familiar with the systems and the structures that 2 weeks, right, to go through all of your systems, audit what's broken, what's healthy, what is fragile, and provide a detailed roadmap of what you need to do next and how you need to do it, right?
Yeah.
The timeline to actually implement the changes that are recommended in the roadmap will be dependent on what the changes are and who you're going to have do the changes, right?
Yeah.
I will say that one of the things that we always recommend when we do the roadmaps, we always recommend the quick wins and then long-term solutions, right?
Okay.
So immediately, right, there will be things that can be implemented. So call it within a month after the audit roadmap implementations, you'll be able to see changes, improvements in efficiency, improvements in the processes and communication, productivity within a month, right? But overall completion of any kind of like changes in platform, integrations that need to be done may take a little bit longer. But
got it. Well, obviously, like, it's not a one size fits all. Like, y'all got real problems.
Right.
You need her for longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But the main thing is that if you never take a look at those things, right?
Yeah, that's
Right. From personal experience with my own businesses, and then also in working again with my small business owner clients, working in enterprise brands, working in agencies, the issues persist. They only get larger, right? And money is being wasted. Time is being wasted. Money paying employees to do work that takes forever to get done, or when it does get done, does not have the impact that it should have had because all of the information that it was based on was not that accurate. All of that is waste, right? And so I don't know, there just comes a point, like I said, you'll know. You don't have to be like, what do I check to know if I need help? You'll know. You feel unsettled. You feel confused. You feel like there's chaos in what you're doing. You feel like there isn't clarity, like you're not getting the outcomes for the work that you're putting in. When you have those feelings, when those things plague you during your day, right? you know that the root cause is a Martech structural issue, and you making the time, prioritizing the time to remedy that, whether again you hire digital like media to do it or you have someone internally do it, you do it yourself, it's worth it, right? It's worth it. And you'll see changes immediately after you start implementing from what you find in doing your audit and your roadmap.
This is
God, I'm so passionate about it. I get real serious, like I'm talking about
this is
life and death.
I appreciate this conversation because that's the less sexy thing we talk about these days. Like the less sexy thing you hear at conferences, the less sexy, because like nobody wants to worry about internal processes. You're supposed to not stop thinking about it, and then it all gets fixed eventually. I think that's how it used to work, at least. Now it's not. But like this is like, it made me think of this visual, like this illustration, like this. Let me ground you with like a real life example, and this is for my people listening and watching us. Is that sometimes you go to the doctor and you tell the doctor, I'm in pain. My leg, my hip is hurting, whether you had children or not, it's hurting. And I just can't move. And I'm only 35 years old, right? Or 36 years old. And then the doctor will be like, well, let's take a look. He'll start and be like, okay, I need to, when you go to the doctor, even if you just have like your nostril is hurting, they're going through a full on, like, let me look at your eyes, your blood pressure, your weight. First of all, why do you need my weight again? Okay. My height, everything, because they need to place you, they need to track certain things. So the doctor is going to do all this stuff, and then they're going to assess what's the real problem is. And then the doctor is going to be like, well, maybe you just need physical therapy. We need to increase by this. And so they'll refer you to a physical therapist. Physical therapist will be like, well, this is great, but let me put you specifically with this physical therapist that's worked with people like you that know of postpartum hip hurt, whatever. And then I'll start my therapy, because with this specific therapist, it's not just any therapist. Any therapist could have helped, but it's this specific person. Okay. At that point, I'm already walking for a while, but my hip still hurts and all. So I need some professional, but I need to invest in this, So this is why sometimes you just need to go to the doctor. They're going to refer you to another doctor. That other doctor is going to send you to those tests. And then another doctor, you're going to do more tests. But those are needed, okay? Because at the end of the day, you choose willingly you choose to stay in your misery and your pain. I didn't, obviously, because I'm good. But so which one is it going to be? Either you go through the pain of doing it now, or you go through the pain. You extend that.
The work. I love this example because, one, no one loves that situation. When you go to the doctor and instead of them fixing your pain immediately, they're like, go get these x-rays done and then go to physical therapy. No, nobody wants to hear that, right? I am less painful than that process. Much more pleasant, much easier, much faster than that. But it is an accurate depiction of what we're trying to achieve, right? Because when I go to the doctor for my lower back pain, right, that's what they do. They're like, I'm going to go ahead and send you for x-rays so we can make sure exactly what it is.
Look at it,
Also, let me check your let me check your hair follicles. Let me see your elbows. Well, because the neck bone is connected to the hip bone. That's fine. And then once they're able to identify what the issue is, they send me to the physical therapist so that the specialist in that area in physical therapy can help work it out. And when I start working with my physical therapist, which I love physical therapy, I recommend it to anyone who's out there feeling any kind of pain in their body and joints as they get old, like myself. But when I go, they start with exercises that I can do to relieve my immediate pain. Right? And that's the same thing that we do. We're going to do an audit. That's the doctor x-rays test or whatever. And then the roadmap. And the roadmap is your physical therapy. And there's going to be, the first thing in the roadmap is going to be like, here's what you can do immediately to relieve some of the pain that you're feeling, right? But go on ahead and come see us every week until and do your exercises at home. You know, people don't want to do their homework, their exercises at home, but it's the same thing, you know, it's, so I just love that analogy.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason why,
Everybody,
I give myself an example, but there's a point where you just got to pay to make your life easier. Because, like, I want to spend more
yeah,
time kissing my babies, working out, traveling, reading a book, without no interruption at least.
yeah,
Taking walks,
yep,
going for coffee
yeah.
breaks, and,
Talking to your
and so sometimes it's worth it, but also some people recover faster than others, and that's also okay. So this company takes you 3 months, the other company is going to take you 9. Like, it's okay to do, but you got to stay consistent. And I think there's no better way to close the conversation, because I think it's beyond important. It's one of those things, like, if you really want to. And here's another medical example too, is like when my mom told me, she's 64, 66 years young, suffering of
I was
arthritis.
going to say,
And you can physically see the arthritis on her fingers. At first we were joking her because she has 3 daughters and we adore her so much that we treat her like one of us, literally. But and then we realized that, oh,
right.
this is very serious. It's a sensitive topic. And then one day she set us up. She was like, if you guys don't want to have these hands, this is what you need to do right now. This is what you need to not do. And this is what type of food you need to eat. This is the type of tea you need to drink and stuff. And you know what I did? My Amazon was quick. Purchase everything she said, from cloves, from turmeric, from whatever it was. And like once a week, I try to remember to take it because that shit's nasty, but it's needed. But like, if you don't want to have arthritis in your company, then this is the pain to go through right now. It's not even pain. It's really, at the end of the day, it's discomfort.
These are the steps. Right.
It's like uncomfortable because somebody got to tell me that I'm actually not doing a great job here and there, but they're here to help you fix it, right? And Sanarr is going to be obviously very nice compared to me. But that's why y'all like me, because we're going to be straight up, right? But at the end of the day, it's needed. But so thank you so much, Sanarr, for like dropping some gems. You know what, Sanarr, this is not the last time we'll hear from you.
I want to say one last thing,
Tell
because it made me think of it. When I go to the doctor and I know something's wrong, but I don't know exactly what it is, and I'm in pain, even when they have not fixed it yet for me, but they can tell me what it is, the relief I feel in knowing what it is and what I need to do to correct it, that alone, okay, hallelujah, is a blessing, right? And I try to think of it like that too. So it's not painful. It's just finding the time. It's hard. It's hard to find the time, but the relief you feel when you know what the problem is and you know there is a solution, man, ain't nothing like it.
I mean,
ain't nothing like it.
There's power in self-awareness. There's power in self-discovery. And now you're just discovering that this is a problem, but there's a way to fix it. And like I said, there's different level of fixing the thing. But at the end of the day, you need to fix it sooner rather than later, especially after the whole COVID era, where, like you said, we went too happy and and laid off more humans because we thought the tools were helping. Now we got all of them, not even enough humans to help us see through things, and maybe sometimes we need to hire. But at the end of the day, you can't just go on and hire anyone. Like, you have to have clarity, like you mentioned. And that's how it helps. And some people can do it on their own. They'll go to physical therapy 2 sessions, and then do it on their own, and then they're good. And some people go to physical therapy for like years. So there's different type of us out here. Middle of a little bit. Jay will only need, my husband will only need 3 days and he's good. I just need 30 days, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
I want to thank you very much for allowing me to come and talk with you about Martech, because I do think, you said it at one point during this, I do think it's a thing that doesn't get talked about as much. It's crazy because people will talk about tools a lot because tools are flashy, and it's like, oh, the new tool or the new thing that the platform can do, but they don't like to talk about like the structure, the architecture of all of the tools together and what those processes look like. It gets into the boring, side of things. And so I really appreciate you allowing me to come on here and talk about it, because after doing programmatic for so long, it became really, really important to me to also be involved in the technology and how that's built and how that's set up that we utilize for buying and doing marketing, because it is the foundation of what allows us to be effective and successful in media buying.
Yeah, but that's why we have you, because that's also my least favorite thing to do internally, even from the consultancy perspective. And I had to hire help, right? If I had you 6 years ago, we would hire really quick. But like, I had to look for a VA that could understand systems. That's what I needed, system. I was like, I have all of this locked down, but I just need to do it more efficiently, because it takes me 2 hours to post this blog. She came, now we just have to give her the thing. Sometimes I don't even, she does the whole beautifying, linking. Like, I just put the site, the URL, and she links it nicely and sexy, and she does it. But you need somebody like this, and I need to invest, and I'm never going to look back. So shout out to SNS Creatives. If you guys need any virtual assistant, marketing assistants, I got you. I got you on this for the referral. But so now, thank you for stopping by. And all of your information would be in the show notes and the podcast information. But just in case somebody wants to call you like today or reach out to you today, like, how can they do that? Like, where can they reach out to you?
They can send a contact through digitalxmedia.co. We also have chat that can reach out to us there, or you can email us at support@digitalxmedia.co.
Okay. Well, once again, thank you so much. All this information will be in the notes. And Sanarr, have a great day.